They said it was the future, the revolution that would end gas guzzlers for good. But now, a growing number of electric vehicle owners are asking themselves one chilling question: did we make a mistake? While electric vehicles promise cleaner air, less maintenance, and cutting-edge technology, a surprising trend is emerging. EV owners, many of whom were once enthusiastic early adopters, are now considering a switch back to gas-powered cars. I thought I was helping the environment, but I didn't realize how many sacrifices I do be making. Charging, waiting, constantly worrying about range. It's exhausting. For many, the initial appeal of electric vehicles came with promises of saving money in the long term. But beneath the surface lies a series of hidden costs that some owners are finding impossible to ignore. From the rising cost of electricity to unpredictable charging fees, owning an EV isn't always as affordable as it seems. And let's not forget about the costly battery replacements, sometimes running tens of thousands of dollars. Imagine replacing the heart of your car for the price of a small house. No one told me my insurance would double when I switched to an EV, or that finding a fast charger on a long road trip would be a nightmare. One of the most pervasive fears that electric vehicle owners face is range anxiety. The terrifying realization that your car's charge might not last long enough to get you to your destination. I never thought I'd be scared driving my own car, but when you're in the middle of nowhere and your battery is about to die, it's like watching the gas gauge hit zero in slow motion. You start to panic. One of the most significant hurdles for EV owners is the glaring lack of infrastructure. While gas stations are on almost every corner, charging stations remain few and far between in many regions. Even worse, not all charging stations are created equal. It's embarrassing. You show up to charge, and the station is either broken, taken, or it takes forever. If you don't live in a major city, you're taking a gamble every time you go on a trip. Weather conditions can have a dramatic impact on an EV's performance. In cold climates, EV batteries lose up to 40% of their range. That's right, nearly half of what's promised in ideal conditions. On a freezing morning, my range drops like a rock. I'm constantly thinking, will I make it to my destination? And when it's below zero, waiting to charge is torture. Charging an electric vehicle isn't always quick or convenient. While gas cars can fill up in minutes, even fast charging an EV can take half an hour, and that's only if you find a station with the right capabilities. Regular home charging? We're talking hours, sometimes even overnight. I have missed appointments, been late for work, and even had to cancel plans because my car wasn't charged in time. That wouldn't happen with gas. EVs promise to save the environment. But what many owners weren't told was the environmental cost of manufacturing these vehicles, particularly their batteries. Mining for lithium and other rare earth metals leaves a devastating ecological footprint. I thought I was making a difference, but when I learned how much damage is done to make these cars, it made me question everything. At the end of the day, many electric vehicle owners are realizing that, despite the promise of a cleaner, greener future, the reality is far more complicated. The convenience, reliability, and affordability of gas-powered cars still hold a strong appeal. I wanted to believe in electric cars, but right now they just don't work for my life. Maybe one day. But for now, I'm going back to gas. Electric vehicles may still be the future, but for many, that future just isn't here yet. While some may be turning their backs on electric vehicles, the future is still in motion, and it's full of surprises. With innovations on the horizon from next-level battery technology to nationwide fast charging infrastructure, the race to perfect the electric car is far from over. Will these new breakthroughs be enough to silence the doubters? Or are the challenges too great to overcome? Range anxiety is real, but we're seeing huge strides in battery innovation. Solid-state batteries could be a game-changer, giving drivers longer range with shorter charge times. We're working on solutions for extreme weather conditions too. The next generation of EVs will be better equipped to handle cold and heat. What we see now is just the beginning. The next wave of electric vehicles might just solve the very problems driving people back to gas cars. But the question remains, how long will it take? And for those who want to stick with gasoline, will that option be around forever? Governments are pushing for aggressive timelines to phase out gas-powered cars, with some regions targeting 2035 for a complete ban on new gas car sales. The switch back to gas might seem comforting, but how long will it be before that option disappears entirely? Will those switching back today be left scrambling tomorrow? Eventually, we're going to have to face the reality of a world where gasoline vehicles are not the norm. If the infrastructure catches up and the technology evolves, electric vehicles will become the new default. In the end, the decision to drive electric or stick with gasoline comes down to personal needs and timing. The path ahead is filled with challenges for both sides, But the future is still uncertain. What if we told you there's more to the electric vehicle story than just cost and convenience? In our next episode, we'll dive deeper into the hidden truths behind the electric vehicle revolution. Secrets that manufacturers and governments don't want you to know. From surveillance concerns to cybersecurity risks. Are electric vehicles the gateway to a new era of control? Or are we driving into a future where our every move is being watched? Electric vehicles aren't just cars. They're data machines. From the moment you step inside, they're tracking more than just your location. Every mile, every turn, every charge, it's all logged. But where does that data go? Most EV owners don't realize how much of their personal data is being collected. It's not just about navigation and range anymore, it's about your driving habits, your routes, and even your preferences. In the wrong hands, that information could be exploited. How safe is your data when you plug in? And can we trust the growing network of charging stations as more electric vehicles hit the road? Charging networks are vulnerable to cyber attacks. Hackers can target charging stations to cause grid disruptions or even hold vehicles hostage, locking them remotely until a ransom is paid. It's not just a hypothetical, it's already happening. As more EVs connect to the grid, these vulnerabilities become harder to ignore. Are we ready for the new wave of cyber threats that come with electric mobility? And then there's the power grid. While electric vehicles are heralded as a cleaner alternative, they come with a massive burden on our already fragile infrastructure. As adoption increases, some experts warn that the grid simply can't handle the demand. If every household is charging an EV at peak hours, we'll start to see massive strain on power grids that weren't designed for this line of demand. Blackouts, increased electricity prices, and rolling outages could become common unless we rethink how we generate and distribute power. Can the grid evolve fast enough to keep up with the electric revolution? Or are we on the brink of an energy crisis? And then there's the power grid. While electric vehicles are heralded as a cleaner alternative, they come with a massive burden on our already fragile infrastructure. As adoption increases, some experts warn that the grid simply can't handle the demand. If every household is charging an EV at peak hours, we'll start to see massive strain on power grids that weren't designed for this level of demand. Blackouts, increased electricity prices, and rolling outages could become common unless we rethink how we generate and distribute power. Can the grid evolve fast enough to keep up with the electric revolution? Or are we on the brink of an energy crisis? The electric vehicle revolution was supposed to simplify our lives, make our world cleaner, and put us in control of our mobility. But as we've seen, it also brings with it complex challenges, ones that could reshape society in ways we're just beginning to understand. So, as we stand at the crossroads between electric dreams and gas-powered realities, the question remains, what will you choose? The electric vehicle revolution was supposed to simplify our lives, make our world cleaner, and put us in control of our mobility. But as we've seen, it also brings with it complex challenges, ones that could reshape society in ways we're just beginning to understand. So, as we stand at the crossroads between electric dreams and gas-powered realities, the question remains, what will you choose? Will you embrace the electric revolution, or stay loyal to the engines of the past? The choice is yours. Make sure to subscribe for more shocking truths and insights into the world of cars, technology, and beyond. And let us know in the comments, are you sticking with electric or switching back to gas?